Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I give my reading update for the week of 8/9/2026 through 8/15/2026. I completed 2 books this week, so I talk briefly about those 2 books. I read parts of 3 books, so I talk briefly about those 3 books. I talk about my reading plans for the near future. I talk about the videos I released. I talk about the crochet project I'm working on. I talk about the video games I played. I talk about the music I listen to. And I talk about some other things going on in my life too. One book I completed was Even the Good Girls Will Cry by Melissa Oftermar. I talked previously about the book was talking about her 5 years she spent with Hole. The latter part of the book talks about the years she spent with Smashing Pumpkins and a very short summary of what her life, of the things in her life after she left Smashing Pumpkins to the time the book was written. She is an example of the kind of battle between art and commerce. She had ideas of what she wanted to be as a musician, and although being in Hall and Smashing Pumpkins gave her a high profile and was financially rewarding, it wasn't artistically what she wanted to do. Hopefully in the not too distant future I'll have a review of this book. The second book I completed was What Hunger by Catherine Dang. This was a book I read as part of the Horror Literati book club, a book club created and moderated by Jen at Horror Literati. It is a YouTube and Discord book club. She also recently started a Substack. This book is told in the first person by Veronica. She is a 14-year-old child of Vietnamese immigrants. Early in the book there is a tragedy. This really devastates the family. And she develops a kind of strange hunger. We'll just leave it at that. Hopefully I will release a review video for this book soon. But I liked it a lot. As I liked Even the Good Girls Will Cry too a lot. I liked both books a lot. The book I continued reading was Blood and Gold by Anne Rice. I am enjoying the book. There are times though that I wonder if this book is the tale of Marius. And there are some times reading this book if I wonder if he's quite an interesting enough character to support a whole book like this, over 400 pages. But I am enjoying it. I'm reading this book as part of the Vampire Chronicles group, a group created and moderated by Elaine at Cobalt Dragon. It's a YouTube book club, and there's also a Voxer group. The group currently includes Leslie at Bookers and Purrs and myself. And this is the 8th book in the Vampire Chronicles series. And I don't want to say, because I'm not quite sure, that Marius is quite an interesting enough character for a book like this, that I'm not enjoying the book. I am. A book I started this week and read some of is The Wonder Garden by Lauren Acampora. I learned about the author Lauren Acampora and a comment by Inmas. I learned about Lauren Acampora and a comment Inmas made on my reading update for the week ending 6/27/2026 video. I was sold because Inmas liked the book she read. The books are set in a Connecticut town, and I'm a lifelong resident of Connecticut. And she said the author's been recommended by Mona Awad. The book I'm currently reading is a collection of 12 short stories, interrelated in a Connecticut town. Don't remember the name of the town, but it wasn't one I recognized, so I think it's made up, but I have to double check that. But it must be in Greenwich County because it's not too far from New York City. People take the train into New York City to work, and it seems a wealthy town. The residents that the stories talk about are not ones I necessarily like, but it is interesting seeing what goes on with them. The second book I started and read some of was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll and Camille Garcia, Illustrator. I've never read this book or any. I think there is more than this. I've never read anything with Alice in Wonderland in it. Got the idea of reading this book from a video by Alice at the Book Castle. In her recent Beautifully Weird Books I've Loved video. It's funny I haven't read this book before, but got an idea from Alice's video and was able to borrow on Libby from my library. As far as my short-term reading plans, I plan to continue reading Blood and Gold, The Wonder Garden, and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Hopefully I can finish all 3 books in the coming week. And I do plan to start Pizza Girl by Kyoung Frazier. This is the August read for Weird Girls, Weirder Fiction, a Fable book club monitored by Lori at Lori Reads. And I plan to start Looking for Alaska by John Green. This is the August read for the On With It Band book club, a Fable book club created and monitored by MJ. Reading This Life at M-J on here. As far as videos I released 2 videos this week. They were Reading Update for the week ending 8/8/2026 and 20 Questions Booktube tag and the Missing Questions tag. I worked on one crochet project. It is the Joker Wooble. That is in fact the Joker of Batman fame. I am a good way through the body. Part of a Batman kit that I have. As far as video games I played played Tamagotchi Life. There was another birth on the island, so I now have 25 residents, 16 that I created, and 9 that were born on the island. As far as music I listen to Cat's Eye. They released a new EP called Wild, released Friday. Listened to it once. The first 2 songs were ones previously released, so I was familiar with them. There are 3 more. On the first listen, the whole thing through, I did like it. I do have a subscription to Sirius XM, and mainly to listen to my vehicle, so I listen to one of their hit stations and just a variety of songs. I can't remember any specifically. I also watched a little bit of the live streams from KCON 2026 in Los Angeles. The actual live streams of the main acts don't start till 11 p.m. my time, so that's too late. But I did watch a little of the early stuff. One act performing, and they have a red carpet. Watched that on Friday. Other than that, this past Tuesday, I went to the library in town. I had to return some books, and while there, I Picked up 5 more books to borrow, and I renewed my library card for 3 more years. And this past Friday, I went to the local Barnes & Noble, one town over from where I live. A new one, it opened late last year. Actually, the library's new too, it opened in December. Looked around a lot, ended up buying 5 books. I'm going to do a separate video where I show the books that I got in the library visit and the Barnes & Noble visit. On Saturday, I went to a Connecticut Sun game at Mohegan Sun. They were playing the New York Liberty. The game was close, but the Liberty did win 82-75. It was still a good game. They don't have many games left in what they're calling their sunset season. After the season ends, they're moving to Houston. Kind of sad, but it is what it is. Back in May, I went to see a open practice for the team, and the week after that I went to see a game. Especially the open practice date, I had a fair amount of anxiety being in crowds because I'd gotten away from that. And I still had some, a little less, in the game I went in May. But this time when I went yesterday, I didn't really have very much anxiety, which was good. The game was mostly sold out, so it was a big crowd. So I was happy that I didn't have a lot of the anxiety. Maybe it's just that I have to, with some regularity, go to events. Even though it was 3 months between them, still it's like maybe every month or two I should go to something with a decent-sized crowd to kind of keep myself fairly comfortable in that environment. Other than that, I went out to eat a few times, walked at the local mall. A little more work was done on the work being done on our road. Yesterday they installed curbs on our side of the road. The previous Saturday they had installed curbs on the opposite side of the road. It's a little bit difficult for me to deal with because I'm not always sure when I'm going to be able to get in and out, but I delayed going to the game yesterday a little bit, but I was able to get out fine and get to the game and with plenty of time. I would be interested in knowing any books you read this week that you might like to recommend, or music you listened to, video games you played. If you'd like to let me know, please add a comment. If you can't think of anything else to comment, please add an emoji of your choice. I hope you have a wonderful reading week. I hope you have a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe. Please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.